There are no quick fixes in this area. It's taking us decades to get into this problem, and it's going to take multiple years to get us out.
That was the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation's Deputy Chief Economist, Aled Abdurworth, earlier on this program, sounding an alarm about household debt in this country. His analysis shows Canada now has the highest level of household debt in the G7 between 2008 and 2021. That debt rose from being about 80% of the size of the Canadian economy to exceeding it at 107%. During the same period, household debt has been dropping in the US, UK, and Germany. So what's with the difference, and what are the implications for politicians and policymakers? Let's bring back the front bench. Stephen McNeil, Alison Redford, Guratan Singh, and Joyce Napier. Guratan, I feel like this was one of the most shared articles today. So many people in my kind of outside of politics world of friends were sending this to each other. It really resonated. How big of an issue do you perceive this to be?
This is just utterly drastic right now, what we're facing. Let's just be very clear. This is a crisis. We are looking at numbers where I'm hearing things like, if you take a single mother with 2 kids in Toronto after she pays either rent or mortgage, they're being left with something like $400 left for the entire month. In BC, it's left with $0 to deal with expenses after paying either rent or mortgage. This is something that is just, it's so terrible to think that people who are being paid very well right now are unable to make ends meet. And this is a crisis in every sense of the word. And beyond that, though, it does show a failure. It shows a failure in the current federal Liberal government. It shows a failure in their inability to control this issue and make life more affordable for folks. And I think it's something that we definitely need this to be at the forefront, and we need immediate action from all levels, really, to tackle this crisis that is not ahead of us, it's in front of us right now.
I feel like, Alison, there's kind of two sides. There's a policy side of this, which is not an easy fix, which the economists we had on spelled out very clearly. It's going to be on the supply side, therefore it's going to take a long time. But the political side of this is, I think, part of the reason that Pierre Poilievre, for example, was successful in his leadership bid in kind of expressing to people, I get it. I get that people, exactly as Guratan spelled out, people who have well-paying jobs are still really finding it hard to get by and are living, if they are owning a home, with enormous amounts of debt. What are, from where you sit, how important is that political problem for politicians today?
Well, I think that's the most important part, is that we're not talking here about Canadians who are making unwise decisions with respect to the amount of debt that they're taking on. Many Canadians are doing this because they can't afford to make ends meet. I think the other side of this is, if you look at the way that banks are acting at the moment, they have a fair amount of flexibility in terms of the sorts of debt instruments that they're offering. The level of service fees that they are charging customers that aren't declared outright, but are simply added on to ongoing bank and customer relationships. And government has not been holding banks accountable. Banks are profitable at the moment. It seems like, even though there should be some profitability in banks that should somehow be carried over to customers in some way that they would benefit from that it's not. Banks are making record profits at the moment. Debt instruments are not clear. Canadians are struggling to pay for their everyday expenses, for accommodation, for mortgages, for rent, for food. And yet the converse of that is that banks are not being held accountable for the profits that they're making, or how they're being accountable to their customers as opposed to their shareholders. And I think that's a policy issue that government needs to look at.
As you look ahead, Joyce, to potential campaigns, for example, in the future, I feel like I get the sense this is, for a wide voter base, going to be a big issue.
This is huge, and I completely agree with Alison about the banks. But, first of all, Canada is a very expensive place to live everywhere. I don't know if there are places here that are... Ottawa is incredibly expensive. I moved from Washington, 7 years ago, and I was floored by the cost, the price of houses here compared to the American capital. But you know, Canadian consumers are also I'm trying to find a word other than fleeced here, but we pay more for everything in Canada. We pay more for train tickets. We pay more for plane tickets. We pay more for everything.
Cell phones.
Cell phones is ridiculous. And for, you name it, we have bank fees here, and the same bank, when I lived in the States, was not charging me. The same bank, TD Bank. You here in Canada, you pay the fees. In the United States, you don't. So there is that element as well of everybody takes advantage of Canadian consumers for some reason. Is it because we are a captive audience? But, you know, you go to any place, even the Gap, you will pay more here for a pair of Gap blue jeans than in the United States. So that is everywhere. So, you know, what can governments do? I don't know what governments can do about that, but I do know this, that, you know, if you're the opposition leader, you're going to run on that, and that is going to grab a lot of people, because we all feel it. No matter what your income is, you know, when you go to the shopping, to go food shopping, that you're coming out with less food and more money here.
I think also Joyce's point is a good one, Stephen, and last word to you on this. It's an easier job for the opposition to talk about this because the policy prescriptions are not simple, right? So the government will always kind of be on its heels. Because, you know, having to talk about the fix from their perspective is not as simple as identifying the problem.
No, and first of all, let's go back. I think one of the things that we all should recognize, this is asset building for Canadian families who are in the mortgage business but have a home. For generations, that's where many of us has generated our wealth. So the fact that we have that many Canadians who are owning homes, the fact that our banking system, which with all of its flaws, is built in mortgage tests that Canadians so far have been able to manage. If you look really at what's happening around the housing issue, there's two policy issues. One, in my view, is supply. How do we increase supply? And that will require governments at all levels, municipally, provincially, federally, and the private sector, to look for innovative ways to create supply. And I think the other thing that will help drive this is what's happening on the inflation side. If governments, both nationally and subnationally, continue to spend beyond their means, they're not spending for infrastructure, they're spending to pay the credit card of the governments of today. They are going to continue to have, we are going to continue to have inflation that continues to increase, which continues to put pressure on household budgets across the country, not impacting the asset side of that, but all of the other things we're talking about, how we live, whether it's our cell phone bill, whether it's our grocery bill, whether it is. So from a government point of view, will be long-term. What's the strategy that we can cooperate? And number two, get your spending in order. We would all benefit from all governments being able to manage their own budget line a lot better.
I got to leave it there. Thank you so much for the discussion this evening. Stephen McNeil, Alison Redford, Guratan Singh, and Joyce Napier. Today's takeaway is all about our top story.